This is a great intro, isn't it? There's supposed to be some audio and stuff on here, and live, etc. You know, that sort of thing. Well, that went great. That's a great start of a show, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hello.
at least we are here, and hopefully you can hear us, if nothing else, I guess.
Well, it should go out audio. I can see meters going there and there, so we should be live.
Well, okay, so hi everyone, we are live. The intro was partially live, at least the visuals, but you already know this by now anyway, so who cares, I guess. And it's the 12th of December, a beautiful number today, right? One day before Lucia-dagen in
Lucia.
Sweden. Lucia.
Yeah.
Apparently I'm not pronouncing it right still after 7 years living here. And I'm not entirely sure how international that day is, 13th of December, but around here people are eating saffronbullar, which is translating to saffron. Oh, hang on a minute. Saffron, very prepared here.
Very.
Yes. Actually, it's saffron, I guess. So saffron in English as well. And it's a delicious type of cake kind of thing.
I0 says, actually, it's Worldwide Audio Check Day.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's very visible.
I hope you can hear us.
It's very visible, yeah.
Yeah, we should be audible, so there's that.
Yeah.
But
Indeed.
yeah, I set up some things in OBS so I can play some videos later on for our guest, or rather featuring our guest.
Featuring our guest.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, our guest today or tonight will be Mibri himself. So we will have interesting chit-chats about music, amongst other things.
Yes.
Especially Sid music, amongst other things. But other type of music too. It might be.
Might be.
Might be.
Yes, and if you do have some questions for Mibri, you can join us on Discord and post them in the Mibri questions channel. To join us, you can just follow the slay.radio/discord link.
Yes, and you can already post your questions in that sub-channel of ours, and he will join us at 9 p.m. Central European Time.
Yeah, so in 50 minutes.
About 50 minutes, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And he is on the channel, so he can already see what you guys are talking about. If you want to talk behind his back, you won't be able to, he is there. So, indeed. And what else we can tell? The previous week on RKO seemed like it wasn't the previous week, because the previous week nothing got released. But the one before the previous week, there are certain tracks there that got released, and also it's kind of applying right now for us, well, applying to this show, because there was not a previous show on the previous Thursday, because unfortunately I wasn't here, but I have returned, so I guess everything is back on track now.
She's back, the woman behind the mask.
Well, yeah, or I don't know, behind the whatnot, but you are the man behind the equipment, so wouldn't.
Yeah, I have a
say
microphone and a laptop.
Yeah, and it's
And
not
a stream deck.
not to give the compliment for the intro or not, but we never know what goes wrong. So if this is all that goes wrong tonight, that is applying to the intro, I will be very happy.
That would be a thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly. So the most important is that nothing goes wrong after 9. And until then, how about highlighting one of the newest tracks on RKO, which seems to be a very interesting track, because this remixer either hasn't released anything yet or for a while. He is called Totta, and this release is very high rated. I would say. It's called a medieval remix of Pojan.
Kind of.
Okay, what a comeback after 12 years. Totta became,
a total hero.
Yes, one of our heroes for tonight. Amazing work there. And so happy that you are back. After the last release has been in 2012. That was called Hero Quest Pop House Dub remix on Amiga Remix, by the way. Also, it got an excellent rating. So, let's pay attention to this guy, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's. Also, one little note, I've done some migrations and whatnot. So the bot that you can do requests through on Discord and IRC and Twitch and whatnot seems to be a little bit down and sad.
Oh, no.
I do not know why. It's actually running, I think at least, in the container, in the migrated machine and whatnot. So if GoHanks is listening and could have a quick look at maybe why it's not working. But anyway, meanwhile, if you want to make requests, you can still do that by going to slay.radio/request. And no, you do not need to have a login or anything like that.
Yeah, you can request just like that, because we know everyone hates to log in to places. We do as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We just need to log in to do the show, but if we could get rid of that, we cannot. That's probably not going to happen.
I can say it's greatly helpful these days to not have to remember 73 gazillion passwords and combinations of back in the day when you had to remember all the passwords. You had this kind of system that you used for your passwords. And then you varied the system for each site. Now you don't even need to remember that because you have your password manager.
Mm-hmm. And GoHanks is with us, so he's already on the case.
Thank you,
so fast.
GoHanks. Thank you.
Yes, we are saved. Our savior, GoHanks. So Shetil said that the previous track sounded like something from Pippi.
Yeah.
Pippi Longstocking that I have greatly missed from my childhood, I guess, because I just completely missed it. I don't know how. It wasn't that big, probably, or at the area where I grew up. But
or it was under Russian control or something. Who knows?
Not funny. But true, yeah. I mean, it could have been, so you don't know.
Could have been.
Anyway. Here we are after 2 weeks out, right? Because, we took 1 week of break after we interviewed the Encore guys.
Yes, and we are still full from yesterday's Christmas dinner with the company.
Oh no, don't even get me started. And I'm going to another Christmas dinner tomorrow, and I don't know how I'm gonna survive this week, honestly. So this is the week of Christmas dinners, company Christmas dinners in Sweden, and and probably the next week as well at some companies. I don't know, but these 2 weeks are the ones where everyone is going out and a lot of people are having the Christmas buffet table full of fish and meatballs and what else?
Prinskorv and ham, Christmas ham, and in Sweden, some of the places have started experimenting with a lot of weird stuff, like elk meatballs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so
So not elk balls, elk meatballs. There we go.
yeah, it's really fantastic. But I ate so much salmon, which is my absolute favorite of all time, that I just don't know how to continue this tomorrow. But then again, today we had quite a mediocre dinner, so I guess I will manage something tomorrow. Because we just got a cheese pie out of the freezer. Well, that was a mistake. It wasn't that great, unfortunately, but anyway, sometimes you want it quick, and then the solution is there in the freezer. One would think so.
One would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, do you have a long-ish track we can play so I can have a quick look at the bot host? Seems to be some DNS issues on there.
Is 4 minutes long enough?
Well, yeah, I'm fairly quick when I need to be.
Anyway, I would play this request of Frida right now, which is a super ego and neutralizer, counter force, the neutralizer.
The naturalizer.
Neutralizer.
There we go. Nice one.
Yeah, very nice. Very pleasant piece.
Yeah.
Just
Very.
sit back, relax, and enjoy this thing.
This thing.
No, not that way. Not that way. How Slaygon says it. Sorry, before we misunderstand each other. But yeah, it's the guys on the Discord channel are talking about drinks and and of course Julmust, and this year's Julmust apparently of this company that they talked about is really good.
Ziona.
Vasa Bryggeriers Julmust.
Vasa.
We are not paid for this, by the way. We could be, though, but no. We are not monetizing, so no. This is honest recommendation from Grisor, it seems. And yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm not very picky with the Julmust part of things, though.
Yeah, I have a hard time imagining what is the quality difference there.
You will feel when there's a quality difference, because I basically just buy at least the semi-good ones. I avoid the shitty ones, but yeah.
Okay, semi-good ones. And to others who don't know what Julmust is, it's basically the Christmas Coca-Cola of Sweden. I don't know how else to describe it, really.
It's a seasonal thing. It's kind of like Coke or Pepsi, but like smaller bubbles and tastier, essentially. Tastier than Coke and Pepsi. And we only sell it seasonally at Christmas and Easter.
Yes, and even Coca-Cola couldn't kick it out of the market.
Oh, they
basically
tried hard.
Tried with Santa Claus and all the advertisements they could get, but no, Swedes insist on their Julmust, and that's it, period.
Yeah, because it's better objectively.
It's actually better. Yeah, I like it more as well. Very, very true. And was Wankies with us, obviously.
And so it begins.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't even start yet, but yes, and glögg is very nice.
Mm-hmm.
However, the guys were talking about boiled wine, and I'm talking about mulled wine, because mulled wine, yes, because that's the official name that we use in Hungary for that. And honestly, I prefer the most our mulled wine, because it's a bit less sweet than glögg is. Glögg is super sweet to me.
Give me all the sweets.
But since I don't have a possibility to introduce it to you guys, because the only way you can enjoy that is to visit Hungary, basically, or maybe even on the Austrian Christmas market, they have something similar. Martinland will confirm this or not. But it's, it's mulled wine, and we really love it, especially going out to Christmas markets. You know, going out, it's a thing that you don't do very often. But
I am a bit hard of hearing right now.
Yeah,
I think there's some buzzing going on over there.
Yeah, I had my going out experience for an entire week at the start of December now, so now I can just stay at home on the couch with you for a while. And yes, the Christmas craziness and Christmas markets already started, and of course they are selling mulled wine on all the corners of the market, and it's really nice. And who would reject this?
I like the sweetness of glögg. When you kind of have the right heat on it, like the one we got yesterday at the dinner thingy.
Yeah, it's
that
nice.
That was just the right. It wasn't like scalding hot. It just tastes nice.
Yeah, it's not that I don't like it. I like it. It's just a tad bit sweet
I know
for
you
my
prefer
taste.
the other one. I know.
That's it. But it's nice. It's really nice, especially when some almonds are added into it, and some raisins, which is really weird because I don't like raisins, but in this drink actually it works. So it's really nice. But raisins and almonds, and what else is added to glögg? What else than raisins and almonds?
No, I think that's it.
Okay, so we maxed it out, I guess. So that's it.
That's the only thing I can remember, at least.
Yeah.
I never have any of that in mine. I just have the glögg.
Of course.
Don't pollute the good thing.
Don't pollute. No, it is really nice. I love that. But yes, anyway, let us us check what is going on here because, well, Eivind also released a very relevant song here, it seems like, start of December, that we did not have an opportunity to play yet, but now we will. It's called Merry Draxmas. I really like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, the original composer is Drax, and
It would be weird if it was like Rob Hubbard.
then it would be Robmus, I guess.
Yeah,
but it's
Merry Robmas.
Robmas.
We're going to have a couple of those over the coming 4 years.
right. So, Merry Draxmas, Gemini. We also like that.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! It's a Christmas miracle. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Well, the New Year is a little bit off yet, but getting there.
Yeah.
It's only, what, 2-ish weeks left?
Yeah, we still have at least one show until then.
Yeah, at least.
At least one show.
Yeah, but we are Christmassy red behind here, so...
Yeah, we are, but yeah, in the next
And
show
I mean,
we'll go full on Christmas.
Yeah,
It's not time
even,
yet
even
for
wearing the red one. Oh, that went really slow. There we go. Not enough light for it to be visible properly, but it's a bit red-ish, dark red.
that. It's a very tiny bit red.
Yes, but it has the proper inlay and everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially for you who is freezing below 25 degrees.
Yes.
Yes.
Give me tropical any day of the week.
Yeah, I was going through your wardrobe the other day and I was exactly wondering, why are you not wearing this?
Why are you going through my wardrobe? What are you looking for?
Well, first of all, I pack your clothes to their place when they get washed, so I guess then I can go there. Am I allowed to? Or are they just climbing in by themselves, or how should we do this?
I don't care if you go through them or not. I actually had entirely forgotten my wool coat until yesterday, right before we left for the dinner. Yeah, I can't really have the jacket. I need something longer. Oh yeah, I have a coat.
And the weirdest thing is that you have this USB warmer winter jacket that you got, but no, it's not necessary at -1 yet, because he's fine with that.
Yeah, it was a windy. If it's windy and -1, then yeah, I'll put that on, but otherwise, a wool coat is fine.
Yeah, it's fine when I layer under it, like at least 4 layers, then it's fine.
I had the jacket, shirt and a t-shirt, so yeah, I was warm enough.
Okay, that's good at least. But yes, Botswank, it's -1 and -2.
And Mibri says, live show dedicated to exploring the contents of Slaygon's wardrobe. Let's do it!
Do you really want that? I don't. I honestly don't.
And Nordog suggests you're looking for the entrance for Narnia.
Yeah. Well,
I haven't seen that in a while.
If not the lion, then we have at least the hares there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm always desperate because he loves his black t-shirts, but we have grey cats, and you can imagine the rest.
Boswank, that's a very weird temperature. 29 degrees Fahrenheit Celsius.
Fahrenheit Celsius, okay, that's new, but it's quite humid, for sure.
Yes, it is.
And yes, we have 2 grey pussies outside. They are not allowed into the studio.
Well, yes, outside the studio, not outside
the studio,
the house.
not outside the house, not in this temperature, especially not. No, poor little things. So yeah, but not really a good thing when you love black and you have grey cats. So if you love black, choose a black cat. That's my advice for tonight. I think that's very useful.
I had a black cat, but funnily enough, for some reason, whenever he shed fur, it kind of became like white. Wherever he lay down, his favorite spot, always full of white fur.
I'm so sorry, there is no good solution. Sorry for any advice I tried to give. Okay, I never had a black cat. I don't know, because...
Yeah, Zelda's father, Diesel, black cat. His favorite spot, wherever he lay down, always full of white fur. I don't know. Don't ask. I have no answers.
Yeah, well, right now I don't either.
Maybe they fell off and then became white? I don't know. Weird. Either way.
You just need to keep a roller all around everywhere in your apartment, whatnot, and well, at least they are not allowed to get into the wardrobe room here, but somehow their fur makes it there. They don't, but their fur does.
Indeed.
Yeah, don't understand that. I don't know how we are doing with the requester, but there is another highlight, it seems.
For those that fill in a little bit later here, the requester on Discord and IRC and Twitch is down, so you will need to go to the homepage, slay.radio/request. And please do that.
Yes, and then
do that.
Fix under the way.
Do that.
On its way. Fix is on its way, hopefully so.
Yes, GoHanks is working on it. There seems to be some odd behavior going on with that new host for some reason. I'm also gonna look into that once we start a new song.
Yes, and guess what happened? On the 1st of December 2024, Laxity has released his very first remix on RKO. Imagine that. And it's called Another 25.
Yeah, I think that is part of the same thing we're going to see a video of later on.
master of phrasing, plays his bass upside down, develop the games from distant land. Do you remember some of his hits? Alibi syncopated as a 16. What an epic guy. Each piece scene is like magic, making T60 fossil blind evergreen. This is a song for you, Laxity. We know that our scene without you wouldn't survive. Share your wit and talent with your brothers, just for another 25. This is a song for you, Laxity. A scene without you wouldn't thrive. Share your beat and talent with your brothers, for another many 25. So, Mr. Granny, it is not the end. Hop on your tractor and go play with a band. So you stay with us, brighten up our lives for just another many, so many, for just another many 25s. This is a little special song we made for you. Our scene without you wouldn't thrive. Share your impressive talent. Sisters and brothers miss you every time you go offline. Without you it gets so boring. So keep on operating, generating more above our goal. Remember, we never getting older. Simply longing's getting longer. As long as the net is working, so I will say we'll never stop. For another many 20, for another many 20, just another many 20, for another many 20, for another many 20, just another many 20, for another many 20, for many 25s.
Clean.
Another 25. And thanks to Shogun and friends, Laxity is releasing now remixes on Akeo.
Yes.
Yay.
That was part of the Shogun and Friends thing on Transmission 64 earlier last month.
If you have missed it, you can watch it on the Transmission 64 YouTube channel,
Yep.
where all the acts now are up and the competitions as well, I think, in a neat playlist.
I'm not sure the full length
Almost.
is up of the whole party, but many of the shorter bits, the pre-made things, for instance, like Shogun and Friends, I think is on there.
Yeah.
And the Teen Rom talk that Travis had.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff on there. So head over to the Transmission 64 YouTube channel and check it out.
Transmission 64 demo party.
Yes.
Or
Or is it
Transmission 64.
Yeah, youtube.com/transmission64.
And also their habit is to create like a nice and neat playlists of everything that happened. So there is a playlist indeed with the 2024 entries and acts there. So you can just go there, and
nice.
I can even link this to you right now because it's in front of me. Interestingly enough.
It is right there. And
Let
while you
me
do that, the requester is now back online, so you can use the !request feature on IRC, Discord, and Twitch again. Thank you, Go Hanks!
Thank you so much.
Go
And
Hanks! Go
well,
Hanks!
he's always going whenever whenever we have a problem. He is our helper. Oh my God! So savior, thank you.
Yes.
You are
Yeah,
our
there
hero.
was a kind of a remnant from the migration that I did. I'm trying to kind of cut down on hardware that I don't need. Now that I don't work, I thought good time to kind of do something about the expenses.
I'm missing this part. I never saw him getting rid of hardware he doesn't need.
That's only 64s. I have rotated other hardware, like the stuff I have in the Netherlands and France and stuff like that.
But I was
and
not
Germany.
there, so
No, but
proof for it didn't happen.
You've heard me say I'm going to migrate a bunch of stuff, for instance.
I
and,
also heard you.
those are moving from old hardware to newer and getting rid of the old, more expensive hardware.
I also heard you saying that you might want to sell your Amiga 3000, but it
Yes.
still hasn't happened yet.
It still
so
has not happened. I still haven't photographed it properly. I still haven't checked if it actually works. Because last time I checked it, it was in the old house, and that was probably 10 years ago.
And you're still hesitating to sell it, if you want to sell it or not.
Well, what I'm hesitating about is who to sell it to. Because I was going to say I only have two, but I have two Amiga 3000s, but I only want to sell one of them. And I have currently two buyers. That kind of depends on what they want to do with the machine.
Who is more worthy?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Kind of, sort of, that
Wow.
sort of thing. Because I wanted to go to a good home, and both of them are.
Okay.
So, there we go.
So you are initiating a compo.
Not really, no.
Who needs the Amiga 3000 more?
Giraffe is posting some French on the channel there.
I do not know French.
Me neither. So Giraffe, if you can at least make the description of the YouTube link in English, that would probably be helpful.
Well, I guess Google Translate can help. By
Yeah,
the way,
it can, but still.
it would how easy it would be just to have this translate button under all the messages, or maybe just a menu translate. And I'm thinking of this.
I'm thinking they are working on it, but at the same time, it's a community, and it would be nice if you kind of all understand the language, which is why we have the different let me see if the thing works. It doesn't.
Nah.
Oh, or maybe it's not
Oh.
a trigger.
I know that we had a trigger for Hungarian.
Yes, so maybe the bot is.
Yes.
Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, maybe we should add one for French as well, Go Hanks. But that's the reason we have those triggers, is because I want everyone to be able to understand and not send like 80% of the channel. Exactly. To use translation services and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's not very helpful.
No, I'm guessing that if you do it at a public conversation with several hundreds of people, that puts a little bit of load on the server if you add this function to all single messages or the menu of messages, just like a reaction. This is how I imagine it working, because if I think about it, how smoothly it's going on Vinted, then I would just want this function everywhere. But then again, that's private messaging and it happens between two people. So that might be a bit easier to implement. Might have been, because it's implemented and it's working very well.
Yeah.
So, but it's nice kind of that you are talking on your own language and the other end is talking on their own language, and you just press one translate and you see the whole conversation on your preferred language, and it just works.
Yeah, kind of like
So-
Facebook. They do that too.
They do.
Yes, they
Never
do.
tried on Facebook though, but
No, I have. Sometimes when there's a thread and someone responds on your threads, for instance, in Hungarian,
yeah, but
there's a link, and then once you press it once, and there's more Hungarian, it suggests to translate the rest
yes,
as well.
that is very true. But this applies to posts, not private messages. So on Facebook, I think it's not implemented to private messages.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm talking about the similarity to Discord,
but
which are public.
yes, true. But then again, Discord is real time, and the Facebook posts are not real time. So we have another factor here that is making
True,
it more
but
difficult.
they do not stick. The translations do not stick on the Facebook thingy.
They do not stick.
No, if you go away from the page and then you come back, they're back to Hungarian.
Okay, that's how you mean they don't
Yes.
stick. Okay, got it. Hmm.
And
All
yes,
right.
GoHack says we can add a translate blah 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 message to auto translate to English. I guess, yeah, should be fairly easy, I think.
And how do you define which message we are translating? Or
The one you post.
you just copy paste after that?
you type exclamation mark translate and then
Gotcha.
copy paste
Right.
whatever you want to translate.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would prefer not to. It's better to have everyone speak the same language to begin with.
Well, yeah, of course. That's not a question at all.
And if need be, we can always go and translate ourselves on various translation services out there.
Yep.
So there we go.
Can you prepare a request, please, for
I
me
can.
in a second?
Let me just do that. Yeah, that's going to be perfect timing, I think. We're going to play this and then come back and talk a little bit more and then play one more short request. This does not want to play for some reason.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Hard
no.
refresh.
Oh no. No.
Heavy refresh.
No.
Heavy hard-on refresh.
Yeah, the famous hard-on refresh.
The hardest refresh you can get.
Oh yeah,
you get.
It's so hard, so fresh. So let's just play this fucker.
Yeah,
Here's,
so the request was Look Hash and the well-known Supremacy, and the Flaskhals is requesting this song.
Flaskhals. Do we have volume?
That would be helpful.
And now,
Oh no, it doesn't play.
no, it
Oh,
played
no.
earlier when I started. Okay, let me just do this, just because
Just close
silly.
it and open it again.
No, I'm doing that, kind of, sort of.
Oh my god.
I don't know what is
Close
going
the
on
whole
here.
browser.
No.
Restart the whole machine. No,
No.
it's not going to happen because then we are going to disconnect. Okay.
This is silly.
So meanwhile,
This is silly. Okay.
meanwhile, may I ask you, how did you decide on the 1st of December to release Perpetual Motion?
It wasn't a decision per se.
It wasn't.
Hold on. Do we have audio?
I do not know.
Let's see.
Anyone hears anything?
I don't hear anything.
Well, we certainly don't.
I don't understand what is going on. We can see it. Okay, this is fucking broken.
Okay.
I don't know.
So we get another tune in then because as per se you didn't decide. I don't know how you didn't decide, but how it made it to RKO then, if you didn't decide to release
it wasn't like let's release it on 1st of December. It wasn't a decision that way. It was a decision, obviously, to release it because I wanted to. If you're asking why it was released, it's because I wanted to have that contrast. Like, here's what my crappy mastering sounds like. Here's what a professional master sounds like, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Which is why it's called, was it Unmasked or
Untamed?
Untamed?
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so...
And it's the version that was played at the Arok party in the compo.
Yes, but this one is Untamed.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so... great. This is also Lukash related because it's a remix of Lukash's Sid. And well, let's see if we can return with the Lukash video clip.
Almost a fiddly-dum. But yeah, I thought maybe it could be educational for someone to do a comparison. Like this is a like home master type situation, and then listen to a professionally mastered version, which I don't know. I kind of prefer the professionally mastered version. But someone asked if I could upload that, and I said, yeah, why not? So there's the party version of it.
But yeah, the Untamed means the party version then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, excellent. How does it look now? on your computer.
I haven't tested yet, but let
But
me
you
do
restarted.
yeah, I did restart the browser. I didn't
And-
restart the computer.
Just for kicks. Let's see. Oh,
We have audio now.
we have sound. Excellent.
Let's see if I can pause and restart and still
Uh-huh.
have sound.
Yes, there we go. There we go. So, yeah, how about playing this request? And we
Well-
are slowly approaching 9. So,
Yeah, Mibri, get your
get in the van.
Get in the van, Mibri. Get in the van.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could probably connect. Well, I'm gonna actually need to do that. No, yeah.
You're a bit uncertain.
It's difficult because it's on the same computer. I can't control anything. So
It's
when you connect, Mibri, just hit the mute button and we're golden.
We can actually play the audio of this because that's the most
It's fine.
important.
We can
I
play the
know.
whole
I'm
thing.
just telling you there's an
Let's
alternative.
just play it now.
Okay.
It's ready to go. It's 4 minutes. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Okay,
eager to
let's
get to
see.
Mibri.
Okay, let's see how we put this together. But Flask has asked for Supremacy/Overlord, the classic one from Lukash. So. Are we on air?
We are kind of sort of on air.
Kind of
sort of. Hold on. That's the button I was. Yeah, thank you,
Advertisement
Lukash.com.
time.
Now, this ought to be interesting because I do not know if I actually got things correct here. So we will notice what. Look at that! There's a Mibri.
Wow! And
Can we-
he's-
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Mic check
we-
1, 2. Can you hear me all right in there?
Yeah, press X over there again. Because I need to pull down this. There. That's better. Now you're not clipping anymore.
Good. No clipping for me. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
We are doing well. Thank you. How you are doing?
Doing.
All good here.
Oh man, but well, you're here now, so hello and welcome.
Yes.
This
Thank you.
is Mibri, the man, the myth, the
legend.
Sidalizer.
The
Yeah.
Sidalizer. I like that one. I'm gonna keep that one.
Sidalizer.
Thank you for that. Yeah, thanks for having me. Very kind invitation to your show. Because, you know, I've been listening, I've been checking in on some of these live shows over the course of the year, and I often simply lurk, but I always get a kick out of them. Good atmosphere in here, so I very much appreciate the invitation to talk some Sid and probably realistically talk some nonsense as well.
Nonsense.
you very much.
Realistically.
Nonsense is what we're good at, as
I
you may have
mean-
noticed.
I mean, if I think about your podcasts and everything, how you present things, definitely we have a higher amount of nonsense on what we do.
Okay.
But,
Maybe I've gotten more nonsensical as I've gotten older, though. So just brace yourself for that. Yeah.
but yeah, we are very glad to welcome you here, and
Thanks.
it's like it's incredible. Like I was so eager to ask this question because it's so mind blowing that right now we are in 2024. And when you appeared on the horizon of the scene and anywhere where we could hear from you, that was 2018.
And you
Yeah.
kicked it off with a bang. You just released, what, 12, 16 tracks in that first year?
And he assisted in 16 releases in his
16,
first year on
yeah.
the demo scene,
Oh,
which is...
Was it that many?
Yes.
It was that many.
Yeah.
How did
Quite a
that
few.
happen?
Good question. Well, I suppose I should wind it back to my first exposure to the C64 in general, right? I'm going back to the early 90s. My granddad, he was kind of, when he retired from the coal mines, he got really into technology, like satellite TV, computers, all this sort of stuff. And he had a Commodore 64 in his spare bedroom, and I'd visit on a Sunday afternoon to have some lunch and catch up with my grandparents. And after lunch, I would go and play on the Commodore 64, and I would, that was kind of my early exposure to what the machine was. I mean, in subsequent years, I kind of mostly forgot about the C64 because I was getting into other newer machines, chiefly for playing games, so stuff like the Sega Mega Drive and the PlayStation. But then curiosity kind of steered me back towards the Commodore 64 when I was an adult. I was getting into emulating some of the games I used to play and love as a kid. And then I subsequently discovered the modern C64 demo scene. And then basically at that point, everything changed. I started to see what was possible on the machine with modern tools. I got some real hardware to play productions on. I started learning about what the SID actually is fundamentally and the ways in which it can be manipulated. And yeah, as you say, I started releasing a couple of tunes in 2018, and really nothing's really changed in the sense that I still do it chiefly for fun, but I always hoped that every subsequent tune would be at least a little bit better than the last. So hopefully getting a bit better with every new tune. And I found myself, when I released these early tunes, I was immediately thinking about what the next one would be like. Do you know what I mean? So thinking about what lessons I could take forward. So really, the C64 scene came into my life at a really helpful time as a musician. It gave me a new kind of lease of life as a musician, give me some new affordances to work within. Because when you work with a chip like this, you have to be very resourceful, very efficient at times, and quite imaginative with, with the different waves and what have you that you have at your disposal. So yeah, that's kind of a very brisk tour of my life with a C64.
Okay, so that means that you were discovering it in like early 90s. Then, of course, you played around with a few platforms. You were mostly gaming that time. You didn't really touch the field of music at that era, right? So it's like
on the machines, that is.
Yeah, exactly. So were you making any music back then?
Back when I was a kid, yeah, absolutely.
Ah.
I was like, when I was really small, I was doing things like messing around with cassette tapes. So doing things like making pause tapes to try and a very crass way of making like a DJ set, I suppose, but just obviously broken because I had, just a cassette deck. So, and doing things like that and recording silly little songs with words taken from comic books. So I suppose I had a bit of a preoccupation with music and sound more broadly.
You never
Okay.
did the cutting the tape with scissors and taping it back together business?
Oh, I'm far too clumsy for that, man. Far too clumsy still. That music was my favorite thing, really. I kind of started learning like clarinet when I was 8, and then guitar when I was 13. I think I still play a bit of guitar in the band I'm in now, but I'm not as serious and competent as someone like Shogun is, who's basically a genius. It's more like a noise-making tool for someone like me, the guitar. But music's always been my favorite thing, and when I found that I could kind of fuse together the mystique and the allure of really old computers with the joy of making music, I thought, all right, well, this scene seems like it could be a good thing,
Yeah.
I actually can hear a bunch of influences from your guitar days on your SIDs. It's very much present on this little thing here. Get in the van. Yeah. And also, just for fun, I thought I'd go back and listen to the very first SID that you made, and that too has very much kind of guitar influences in there.
Oh, do you think so?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I need to hear that one back to remember how it goes. But, yeah.
80s Iron Maiden vibes and all of that.
Yeah, and Ultra Vida was a quite pretentious title, actually. But yeah, that was my first SID. Maybe there's something about the kind of guitar patterns that informed. Definitely the intro, actually. Yeah, I think you're onto something there.
But your early SIDs are not available publicly, because as far as I checked, you have like 5-ish or 92 SIDs in Deep SID right now listed, and all of them are from 2018 onwards. So in 6 years, you created nearly 100 SIDs. I would say that, wow, that's something.
Terrifying, but yeah, that sounds about right, actually. As I say, for me, it's a question of just finishing a tune, and then rather than worrying about its reception or how good it's going to do in a competition, it's all right, well, what's the next tune going to be like? What ideas can we take forward? Did I actually learn anything with the last one, right? It's nice when you actually learn something. And being in a group like Multi-Style Labs is just, it's such a privilege, because for my money, those guys are the best in the business. They're fantastic, and they've been very generous with their knowledge and enthusiasm for music in general. So it's actually been relatively easy, just because I can send them a work in progress, and we all kind of, it's I don't know, we pat each other's backs a bit, we kind of wind each other up a bit as well. It's a fun environment, and I think that's got a lot to do with why I kind of stick with this and release tunes at a fairly good clip still.
Yeah.
And I guess it was fairly easy for them. I don't know how you guys connected. You can talk about this too. Also with Atlantis, they are like one of the oldest demo groups, like I think from 91. So
yeah, those are my boys. Yeah.
So yeah, I guess after like 1 year of Mibri's work, okay, this guy can produce songs here, so let's hire him.
Something like that. Well, yeah, it was originally, in the case of Atlantis, it was a musician called Snabel, who's Danish, I believe. He was a member of Atlantis, and we kind of got talking online. It was probably over Facebook or something like that. Don't really use Facebook a whole lot, but sometimes people just reach out and you go, oh, okay, we have stuff in common. So I was talking to Snabel, and he put me onto the kind of main organizer of Atlantis, Dr. Science. And at the time, they were finishing up a long-running like Trackmo demo project called Two Sided, and they needed a little bit more music for it. They already had some music from Divertigo, an American composer who's fantastic, and he does a lot of kind of rock-oriented stuff as well. Actually, he's worth checking out if you don't know his work.
Okay.
But they wanted like another kind of voice in the soundtrack to kind of riff on the idea of the two-sided demo being one. On the one hand, it's sort of light from heaven, and on the other side, it's fire from hell. That was the sort of prevailing idea. So I thought this sounds great, because having had a couple of years exposure to the modern demo scene on the Commodore 64, I thought, well, this looks like great fun. I really wanted to have a hand in making those big, ambitious demos, so I kind of jumped at the chance to join Atlantis and never really looked back. It's a great group, lots of talent in there, lots of good humor, just constant photographs of drinks, beers and wines, so we're always saying cheers to each other on the weekends. It's a good crew, and I have met some of the Atlantis boys a few times now at a couple of parties, and it's just great. Really, really, really great people. Multi-Style Labs was a bit different because it's a music group first and foremost, and I joined that near the top of the pandemic, like 4 or so years ago. I was already in touch with Jammer from Multi-Style Labs because I was using some of the same tools as him. So we were kind of sharing a bit of knowledge on that. Mostly him sharing knowledge with me, to be honest. Like he's an incredible musician, and I guess me joining the group was basically a consolidation of those conversations I was having with Jammer and Psycho as well. Really, really good guy from out of Poland. That's kind of how I joined those groups, and I feel very at home in them. Great people. Hopefully both groups will have a good 2025. I think we've got some interesting stuff in the works. So look out for that.
That sounds amazing. Okay, and how do you decide when you release something like a music disc, for example, which group handle will have it? Because you have 3 to choose from right now, right?
Well, I don't know. Most of the time, if I'm just any release, I'll just have it as Atlantis and Multi-Style Labs. I kind of, Atlantis because I like to kind of leverage the history of the group, and it's Atlantis. We're kind of the fun-loving, crazy boys of the scene to some extent. I think I think there's like a sense of humor that runs through what Atlantis do, and I try not to take myself too seriously with my own releases. So most of what I put on CSDB or in demo compos or music compos or whatever, I'll have Atlantis on there, because why wouldn't you have Atlantis on your release?
Yeah, and of course everyone loves Atlantis. The one I can't remember which party it was, but Atlantis brought a whole fridge full of beer or whatever, Atlantis beer, like special brew or whatever it was. Oh, he has
here it
one.
is. I've got it with me here. This is the Atlantis. We were celebrating our 30th anniversary on the demo scene, so we. I wasn't there myself, but I think it was Bug Jam and Dr. Science and Honcho went to Function in Hungary.
Function, that's the one, yes.
And they absolutely flooded the party with this lager, just giving it out for free. And naturally, sorry, Lethargy, but you weren't going to compete with us.
I stood no chance whatsoever.
No chance.
Indeed, yeah, that was memorable. I definitely remember that. You were there too, actually.
Yeah, so, that's why I remember that.
Yeah, so...
Free beer.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone remembers that.
Yeah, exactly. Free beer. Yeah, I'll take it.
We evened out the levels, meanwhile, here, because apparently our bed music was a little bit loud, right?
Turned it down on both the decks now, so it should be
thanks
fine
a lot
now.
for the heads up, Frida. That's
awesome.
Really useful. Otherwise, we have no idea, really. So feedback is always very welcome.
Unless it's actual feedback.
That is not welcome when it's actual feedback and echo. Indeed.
But yeah, I thought maybe we could play his first SID from
Absolutely.
back in 2018. I think it's listed as the first one on CSDB at least.
That's
And,
right. Yeah, it is.
let's just post the link here. In the Mibri questions channel, I posted the CSDB link to Mibri's stuff. I'll post it on
I thought you were posting
there
it
as
to
well.
me right now.
And I thought for funsies, we'll actually play this from a real 64.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Not
So,
on my end.
Is that
It's
a
on their end.
6581 or an 8580?
This should be an 8580 SID.
Let's switch that to 8580. There we go. Let's see if we can get this bugger to work then.
let's do it.
If we have any volume whatsoever. So let's give that a go. I can switch to off air over there.
Mhm.
Hey. There you are.
Yes, we
Oh,
are.
there we. Oh, hold on.
We
Yeah.
still are
yes.
there.
Hold on.
I'm holding on.
Why? The fuck?
We're not going. Okay.
That's why.
We're clipping.
I don't know what is going on.
Oh no.
The fuck is Oh, that's the one. That's better. Phew.
Okay.
Whew.
Oh, there we go,
Sorry.
Okay.
We're not in the red zone anymore.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
that was very, very loud. We have some minor gremlins in the machinery here, but it should be better now. Thanks for the fish,
Just blame me.
etc. But yeah, clearly not your first venture in music making, even though it was your first SID ever. Clearly you've been
Yeah.
doing some music or maybe even released something before, have you?
Oh yeah, lots and lots of stuff. I mean, honestly, to my ears, that sounds pretty cheap hearing that first SID back now. But you know, you have to start somewhere, and
Yeah.
it was sort of like a kind of an exercise in getting the hang of, like, Goat Tracker was the tool I used for that particular tool. It's still my main weapon of choice, you know. But I've released various things, like in various bands, like punk bands and stuff like that mostly, but also some electronic music and some more kind of academic type stuff as well. Like I've, you know, did a bit of studying music for some years also.
Oh, okay. Well, how?
That's, as I say, it's always been my main thing, just messing around with sound, and Commodore 64's an extension of that, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a different kind, I guess, of music theory that goes into that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's additional considerations, yeah, of course, like just being resourceful with limited channels. I mean, we say it's an old chip, it's a limited piece of hardware, but actually, the SID is just a dream to work with compared with basically any other sound chip of its era. You know, it's not that limited. Like, it's got lots of things you can exploit. So, yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving, basically. The SID.
Yeah.
How many and which chips did you try to work with?
Oh, well, to be honest, like in terms of chip music, if you want to call it that, the SID was the first one I kind of messed around with. But I mean, I've toyed with a few other ones, like let's see, I've done some other kind of broader demo scene releases, like a couple of Amiga tunes, not loads of those, but hopefully I'll release another one next year at a party. That would be nice. I've done, like, earlier this year, I released a tune for the Spectrum, for instance, like using the beeper, you know, the built-in speaker of that black door wedge of a computer. And, I've done some demo soundtracks for BBC Micro, the Game Boy, and I did a couple of like compo tunes for like 16-bit consoles, like the Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo as well. So I think those are all of the chips I've composed for to date. Although I've also messed around with, you know, the FM Jam cartridge. It's the SID, the FM expansion cartridge that goes in the C64. Yeah. It's basically like adding an ad-lib sound card or a YM3812 chip to the SID. I've done some tunes for that as well. It's like a C64, but with FM sound kind of layered over the top of it, which is a bit of a Frankenstein's monster of a setup, but it's fun to work with that.
Do you have any?
It's the number one, of course. Yeah.
Do you have any of these available online for someone to listen to if they want to hear what it sounds like, for instance? Mm-hmm. Like SoundCloud or?
Yeah, I've got a SoundCloud, which I think might just be Mibri C64. I'll check that though. Yeah. But then my Demo Zoo, you know, the website Demo Zoo, it's like a kind of an archive of demo scene releases. Yeah. I've got got a page on there, as you might expect, and I think it's fairly complete. It's got a list of, I mean, you look down the credits and it's mostly Commodore 64, Commodore 64, Commodore 64. Exactly. And then every now and then it'll go Sega Mega Drive. Right. So that's probably the best way of finding them. And I think there should be, like, within those, on the pages for those releases, there should be things like YouTube links and stuff, or SoundCloud links, stuff like that. So
that's good.
The best way of finding them.
Yeah. So DemoZoom, your primary source of everything Mibri.
Yeah, they maintain it really well, I think.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
I don't even know how they do that with so many releases that come out like every weekend, but they definitely do. And yeah, it's like the easiest to think of when it comes to UEC 64. But as you said, you had experience with other platforms. You started to play clarinet when you were 8 years old. When was that, by the way? No need to answer if you don't want to.
I see what's going on here. Well, I turn 38 years old in about 2 weeks' time. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that's I think I must have. When I'm saying I was discovering the Commodore 64, we're talking maybe 92, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I'm kind of guessing. Yeah.
At least we know that you were alive that time. That's the first thing we wanted to figure out.
Like, is he 25?
You're being too nice. You're being too kind.
I mean,
I feel older, put it that way.
Well, you don't look it.
yeah, seriously. I mean, when I was looking for a promo picture, I have been looking at you guys, you and your wife, and you guys are so young. Like, I mean, you definitely look like ageless, both of you, and it's very, very hard to guess actually when you started. So I almost thought that we have like a
I
new
could level
generation.
that at you two as well, to be honest. I wouldn't like to guess how old you are either, so I won't.
How polite! You're very open now about our age too.
Oh,
so.
the reason I guess you are 25 is because I am 25. So there we go.
As we know, we
you'll
never
recognize a
change.
25-year-old when you see one, yeah.
This hasn't changed for 27 years.
28. I'm sorry.
Is it? Oh my! Oh, I did not realize that. Yeah. So yeah, fun stuff. Anyway, it's just a fun thing to ask because, you know, sometimes people tend to say new generation is not coming, demo scene is becoming dead, and all of that. And this is going on for like 30 years now. I think that demo scene is dead.
Yeah.
Yet it's still working on it, I guess. So
Yeah, apparently people have been saying that for a very long time, and well, people are still discovering it. Maybe not in huge numbers, but enough numbers, I think, to sustain this thing for a long time yet.
Yeah. Really hope so.
yeah, but then again, there are people like you who were sticking around, maybe following it silently, lurking there for so many years. And then you just start to produce things in 2018, and then you just can't stop. And then all of a sudden we have like, I don't know, 100 more releases only on CSDB.
Yeah.
I don't even know how many, because that was impossible to count even. So
Yeah. And I get a little bit of Avin Summerston vibes off of you. A bunch of releases in a year, and good quality at that. So yeah.
well
Very, very
structured.
nice. Yeah.
You are not the musician who is actually having all those half-ready tunes, and they have like 500 of
Sorry.
them. Hi.
I've got full respect for people who can do that. Actually, I mean, you're right though. Like, I am the opposite of that in terms of how my output works. But you know, one of my favorite musicians is Delazy from Berlin. He's like that. He has like a massive folder full of work tunes, and he'll kind of just habitually add to these little pieces. And then if there's a compo coming up, like at Deadline or BCC or something like that, you know, both in Berlin, then he'll take one of these work tunes and then flesh it out into a finished thing. And I'm just tremendously impressed that he can, you know, have so much stuff just waiting to be born, you know, from the womb of his computer. Yeah, he's fantastic. So I mean, I'm kind of envious of any musician who can operate like that, because you must just look at your folder like a kid in a sweet shop, you know.
No, it's really not good. Trust me on this.
It's mostly with anguish. You just go, oh shit, I still haven't finished that. It has a kind of a good start to it and all of that, but why am I not finishing it? Well,
very frustrating. So I would prefer your way, to be honest. But
yeah, definitely.
All right.
yeah, you always need whatever you don't have, right? So
Yeah. Grass is always greener, etc.
typical.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I finish a tune, release a tune, and then I'm thinking of the next one. I guess it's the same condition, but like the difference is just get this thing out, get this thing off my computer. You know, just give yourself a push, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Get it out of the drawer. That's it.
Exactly that.
Yeah. You know that too. At least.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of went back to some old stuff I've had laying around. If you've seen my releases on RKO, the scoring is all over the map, because some of them are like early work prints and whatnot. I decided I will never go back to finish this track, so I might as well just put it out there and see what people think of it. Don't really care much, kind of the ratings and whatnot, as long as it's out there and people, some might enjoy it, some don't.
I think that's a good thing, honestly,
But,
because if you know that you won't touch it like within a reasonable time span,
Yeah,
at least
but
someone
at
else can enjoy it,
Yeah,
right?
but at least my point is that at least it's out of my way, because now I don't need to sit there and kind of wait or think about it anymore, because now it's out there. No pressure to do anything with it anymore. It's done. Yeah, whatever. It's out there, out of my mind, kind of a thing.
I can relate to that for sure. I mean, sometimes tunes just come together in a week. And other times, I think it can be helpful for me at least to give myself a mental break from it, and then if I'm sick of it, if it's not working how I'd like it to, give it a couple of weeks, go back to it, and go, oh, actually, this might not be quite as bad as I remember, and then you sort of start hearing the solution after you've had like a kind of a break from hearing it. Yeah, there's something about that. That might not work for everyone, but it works for me. So,
fresh ears is definitely a thing.
That's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe we should play some music. What do you think?
We could definitely play some music. It's
Are
been
we going
been a while.
Are we going to play it from the real hardware, or are we going
we can.
to...
Which one are we talking about?
Well, we will be talking about one song out of the many. And here are 6 highlighted songs there for your service. But if you want to play them from the hardware...
Yeah. I think a thing that caught my eye here. Are you a Dire Straits fan, are you?
Not hugely, although I am from Newcastle, which is where Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits were from. So I kind of have a bit of a awareness and affinity with Dire Straits, but I wouldn't say I'm a die-hard fan or anything like that. Okay. Why'd you ask, though?
Because of one of the tracks that you sent over. I'm going to actually play it directly from the 64 here. Cool. Brothers in Oscillators.
Yeah. Kind of is a little bit of a nod to Big Brothers in Arms, I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, I suppose, yeah. So here is Mibri and Brothers in Oscillators from a real 64 again.
Can't quite hear you yet.
I did the right thing.
There you go.
Again,
Oh, what happened?
Ah.
What did you do?
I saved the wrong thing.
Oh,
so
no.
again, we were.
Oh no.
That's better. That's
Should
better.
we store all the presets now?
I stored the preset. I forgot to store the preset last
Uh-huh,
time.
okay, well, that explains it. But
But yeah, as I said, while we were off, it kind of again sounds a little bit like a guitar thing, like dun 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 dun. Wow.
Yeah, that was the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that was a tune for X 2023, so last year's edition of X, and that was the first time I'd been to that party, and it was a party I'd obviously wanted to go to for years, just waiting through the pandemic and all that for my chance to actually go to this legendary C64 event. So I thought,
Wow.
well, I need to try and bring something hopefully kind of fancy. I mean, I wanted to do something that was sort of simultaneously a little bit kind of noisy, but also kind of old school in the sense that it's not a multi-speed tune. It doesn't have any samples on it. I wanted to do something that was just like pure SID, because it's like the pure Commodore 64 experience is X to my mind. So I thought maybe keep it kind of basic in terms of the tech, but have some of that kind of weird guitar stuff to, hopefully get played loud. And Burglar, bless him, did make sure it was played loud on the night. So he did a very fine job of running that compo, did Burglar.
Oh yeah, it always
And
does.
not only you didn't go empty-handed, but you also did a set, like for the first time then when you visited X, right?
Yeah, I did.
How cool
Yeah,
is
I
that?
did.
Wow. Right?
Yeah, that was fun. That was that was kind of I'd done some kind of DJ sets before that were exclusively SID music, but those were for online only parties, again through the pandemic. I did one for Transmission 64. I did one for Gub Data even at one point, just to kind of contribute like a live set or a live-ish set, concert type thing to the programs of these parties. I'm not an especially competent DJ. Like I'm, to be honest, as the owner, I'm not in your league for a start, or Burglars. So, but I've got a bit of experience from playing sets like in town. Like I had a kind of a regular gig here in Newcastle for a couple of years. So my
Oh, that's
thing was, play to the floor, like rather than think about what do I want to hear tonight. Like try and figure out what the people dancing want to hear. So for X, it was. I wanted to kind of respect the kind of history of the party, and as a result, all the tunes I played in that set last year were tunes taken from demos that were only released at X across the
Oh,
party's
nice.
history.
That's a nice idea.
Yeah, so that was kind of the idea, but then ultimately, if you can get people dancing, you're winning. So that's the kind of priority, really, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, that was a nice one. I was really flattered and quite proud to have a small hand in that party, because it was basically, you'll know yourselves from being there. X last year was like one for the books, right?
Mhm.
It was spectacular that day,
Yep.
that weekend. So
It kind of
Yep.
always is.
Absolutely. But it's now we go back to the bi-yearly schedule, right? Biannual
Yeah.
schedule from
every
this
2
year.
years, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, essentially, when you do sets, what exactly is that you enjoy the most? Is it like adapting to the dance floor and seeing the feedback, or is it the dynamics that you build up with the whole story that you are building, or?
I think those two things are one and the same, really. As far as DJ sets goes, it's not really the DJ who's the star of the show. It's the dancers, right? That's the kind of club ethos in the UK anyway. That the DJ is kind of the conduit of the party, but the party itself is the people on the floor, right? So
Yeah.
it's kind of, the answer is kind of both for me. Priority one is make sure people are happy and dancing, but then the story, as you say, kind of develops as a result of what the dancers are doing anyway.
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I think about it. I mean, yeah, I can't. I was really, really super tired actually when I did that show, that set last year. I'd been awake for far too long, and I was overexcited and full of Bavaria beers, so I was absolutely exhausted. It was a miracle I was still standing at the end of that set, but maybe I
Barely.
wouldn't have been standing had it not been for people like yourselves. And I remember I saw Martin Landers kind of watching tonight, and he was really going for it through all the
Energizer Bunny,
sets.
if there ever was one.
So thank you, Martin Land, for doing that, because that kind of energy kept me going, basically.
Yeah, he
And
is
you
an-
kept him going as well, I
Yeah.
think.
If there ever was an Energizer Bunny, that's it.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, you definitely kept us going. So we kept
Yeah.
going because you kept going. So I don't know. This is ending up in a
two-way
spiral.
street, all good.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. I do have a question here from the channel, from Gruiser, who asks, why is cowbell the most important sound in your arsenal, and when did you learn to embrace it?
I learned to embrace the cowbell from a very young age. I believe it was when I heard "Don't Fear the Reaper" by Blue Oyster Cult, and I always thought, how can I manipulate the SID's ring modulator effect on the triangle wave to emulate this most auspicious and fantastic of rock sounds. I think I've yet to be honest, I've yet to really fully embrace it. I think I can still open my heart more to the wonder of the cowbell, but give me time, and I hope that I will satisfy all fans of this instrument in time.
Okay.
I was honestly not expecting a proper answer to that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go.
a proper answer? I don't know.
And when it's about composing and essentially like creating SIDs. Now let's talk about creating SIDs first. So you do you have a favorite part of it, like creating the sounds themselves, or rather to put together the composition and the sequences and the melodies? Like, do you have a favorite part? Because it feels like you do both quite well. So
No, thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I mean, what's my favorite part? I don't know. I think how I try to think about it is, I think if it's like a compo tune, that's going to be different to a demo tune, right? There are different priorities. So I guess I'm most satisfied when something's successful naturally, but what success means is different for a compo tune as it is from a demo tune, right? A little bit different, or a game tune for that matter. Not that I've done many game tunes, but for a compo tune, if it's like for a music competition, I try and approach it like I'm making a demo, right? So it can't just be one single texture all the way through. It's got to kind of develop and keep people interested, hopefully.
yeah.
It's got to have different like dynamic levels and, different harmonic ideas. From every 30 seconds, maybe have like a cadential point where it breaks down somehow. And I think the most satisfying part, the most enjoyable part, is when it's that kind of change from one mode to the other. If I'm testing it on like a real SID and something like hits as I hoped it would, it goes from like a kind of a quiet part with some softer sounds to all of a sudden, sounding like fucking Woodstock or something. Like if that works as it should, then that's just pure joy. Yeah,
That makes a
but
lot
then
of
there's something to be
sense.
said about just experimenting with the sound design side of things as well. That can be frustrating though, if you have a very rigid idea of what you're trying to reproduce, like something in speech synthesis, for instance, and you can't quite nail it. That can be a little frustrating, and that would be a time where maybe you do need, or personally I would need to go away for a couple of weeks and then go back to it with fresh ears, right? But when that works, that process is kind of fun, just to try and push yourself and the chip at the same time. But really none of it's aside from that occasional frustration, it's all fun. It's nice to, have a beer or two and just play around. Playing around, messing around is serious business in music, I think.
And no pain, no gain. So if there's no frustration.
But in general, do you start by kind of exploring sounds and then figuring out how you could use those? Or do you start with like a structure of a song or like a bit of a song and then go from there? Do you start at the end of the song, the middle, or the beginning? How do you structure your workflow with that in regard?
I think a point of departure is normally something like picking up my guitar. Even with my clunky fingers, I'll try and kind of figure out a couple of little phrases or patterns. Just kind of just messing around. Like maybe have like a voice recorder on my phone and just see if some chords materialize or a couple of little riffs. Which is exactly how that last tune you played happened. Actually, just playing some chords and playing some like rhythmic riffs and things. I guess that's where it really starts. I think oftentimes it's maybe the main groove of a tune, if you like the middle part tends to be the first thing I put down, and then I sort of work kind of outwards from that. I'll do, maybe the intro could be a quiet bit to contrast with that, or maybe the outro could suddenly go twice as fast, so I'll compose that at the end. Just moving things around and jettisoning the stuff that doesn't quite sound as satisfying musically. But I mean, along the way, I guess you think, hey, what if that little riff started to sound a bit like a bell? Then you start thinking about the sound design side of things. And some tunes, it depends on the nature of the competition as well, because a lot of SID music doesn't even need to think about that at all, really. Like it can just be a classic kind of cracktro style, like pulse width modulation on the leads and big arpeggios and just the classic SID sound. I mean, that's also great. Like it's all valid to me. You don't always have to think about sound design. You don't always have to think about doing crazy things with textures. It's just fun to do so every now and then, I find.
Yeah, I mean, it's audible that you like to do that part, so
yeah. A lot of the time I do, but sometimes just going, you know what, just trying to do like a Drax tune or something like an honest to God SID tune is a beautiful thing as well. So that's probably something I should do better at. It's I do like write melodic stuff here and there, but I'm absolutely not the best at that. I think people like Drax, Laxity. I know we have Ziny in the chat here tonight. I think I saw him earlier. He's great at it as well. He's a fantastic composer. Flex, of course, from Artline Designs. Stinson, these I really admire their kind of melodic sensibilities. We've all got our strengths, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, for me as well. I wish I was better with the melodic stuff. I'm more like the feel of the thing, not the melody, but the feel of the thing. So it's always down to like fiddling with sound design for me for the most part.
Yeah,
I think
I can. Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at a lot of the time. But yeah.
It feels like the two
I don't
types
want to
of.
make the same tune over and over again. So it's nice to try different priorities from time to time. But yeah.
It really feels like there are two types of musicians, the melody-oriented and the technical-oriented. And I think that great things can come out when those two are combined.
Yeah, something like that. I think it's sort of a continuum almost, isn't it? Like rather than being one or the other, there are kind of degrees in between. And even maybe there are even other dimensions to it. Like you could be kind of like a really heavy rhythm oriented composer, which to be honest, I probably am. And then you can, or maybe the opposite of that would be something more texture carried, wide arpeggios or just sort of sounds that kind of sustain and develop like that. Yeah, I think there are all sorts of dimensions and conditions that you could consider, but the melodic versus sound design thing, I guess there's something in it, but as you say, it's absolutely possible to fuse them. And a lot of those composers I mentioned, like, Ziny and whoever else, they're also extremely good at the sound design side of things, actually. So
yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
It's just audible what everyone is focusing on, and this is probably like a simplifying of things, but I like to pay attention to this detail when we look at a musician, because let's take like Jogir Liljadal. He is absolutely melody oriented, but technically he is executing everything perfectly as well. But if I would need to choose one thing out of the two, then I would say he is the melody oriented one. Just like Jeroen Tel.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think so.
that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a decision. And what I meant by combining is when two musicians start to do a cooperation, and they are coming from these different dimensions, and then both of the parts are giving their best to the song, and to my experience, that gives great results usually.
Yeah, it does. It does. I know exactly what you mean. There's a tune called "The Unusual Suspects," which is a co-op between Linus, who's a genius, incidentally, and Stinson. And you can kind of hear Stinson's signature, but also Linus's.
Yeah.
It sounds like both at the same time, and it's a wonderful piece. I highly recommend "The Unusual Suspects." It's on the internet. It's on CSDB.
Somewhere on the
Yes.
internet, yeah. So lurking in some dark corner somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, it's one of my
Moreover-
favorite tunes, that one.
Moreover, I think that is that the one that got remixed as well. Unusual Suspects mix. Not really sure that this is. Yeah, it is. It is actually. This is the one that Morty did the Times Up remix of. Which
cool.
I don't know if you are familiar with that, but if
I
you,
know Morty's tunes a little from like Remix 64 and stuff like that.
but it seems like this tune has only one remix, and if you don't know it, maybe we should show this to you.
Yeah.
Just in case, I don't know, this a spontaneous idea. We will get
check
back
it
to
out.
your tunes, by the way, after this. So
That's all right.
no
I wanna hear it.
worries about that. But
No, he's going like, what? It's not all about me this time? What? Rage
dare
quit,
you.
click.
I just need to look for the proper keyword, unusual suspects
yeah.
mix, and let me hope that I'm playing the right version here, the vocal version, right? Am I?
Vocals.
Yes,
There
yes,
are vocals on that one.
yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Is that the one?
I think they both are.
There is a non-vocal version as well, the compo version, if you remember.
Oh,
that was on
yeah,
Back in
right.
Time
Yeah,
Live,
yeah.
released on the Back in Time Live remix competition. By the way, remixes. We want to ask you about that later
Yes.
on as well.
We will get back to you on that one.
Yes, very shortly. Here comes the song.
I think our love is fading away. I never thought I would live to see this day. There must be something that I can do or say, but I can't bring you back to me. I know our love is fading away, and I don't know if I'll ever be okay. Now I don't think that I'm ready to say goodbye. Oh, do you remember that glimmer of hope? Had no idea my heart was just your tightrope, and there's nothing that I can do, because our time's up, yeah, our time's up, and I know that you are never coming back to me, because our time's up, yeah, our time's up. I never thought that I would watch you walk away. Time's up, yeah, time's up, and I know that you are never coming back to me, because our time's up. Oh yes, our time's up, but I'll still wait for you, my darling. If you change your our time's up, yes, our time's up. And I know that you are never coming back to me, because our time's up, oh yes, our time's up. I never thought that I would watch you walk away. Time's up, oh yes, our time's up. And I know that you are never coming back to me, because our time's up, oh yes, our time's up. But also wait for you, my darling, if you change your mind. Oh. And I let you go too soon. But there's nothing left to say, because our time's up, yes, our time's up. And I know that you are never coming back to me, because our time's up, yes, our time's up. I never thought that I would watch you walk away. Time's up, yes, our time's up. And I know that you are never coming back to me, because our time's up, yes, our time's up. But also wait for you, my darling, if you change your mind.
Oh.
So
Nice.
how did you like it?
Hold on. That's
Cool. That was
gets-
cool. Yeah, really, really slick. I really hadn't heard that one before, and it was pretty faithful actually to the original Sid. It's got the same prevailing feel.
Yeah.
I dig that. Mordy, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I've definitely heard some of Mordy's stuff before. It's Mordy. They know what they're doing. It's very tidy.
Yeah, he is a wizard with his whole soundscape. You can identify a Morty song by hearing the first few sounds out of a track, basically, because I don't know what he does, but he pours some awesome sauce on them, I guess. I don't know.
Also
sauce.
technically perfect and
Yeah.
melody oriented, I would
Yes.
say.
Yes, very much.
Heavily, indeed. But yeah, wow. And I guess we are talking now for a while, and there are so many things to talk about still. that is just yes.
Yes, and we-
Let us get up to speed here.
Yes, and we still have a
Sure.
couple of
'Cause-
video clips as well.
Oh my God, yeah. And then of course we got the question from Bolo that have you got some new projects in the get in the van style?
Thanks for asking. Yes, but do I spoil it? No, it's not a spoiler. The short answer is yes. I've got another Sid, which is kind of it's not. Yeah, it's not using the same tech that the Get in the Van tunes used. It's not like a THC mod, including samples and stuff. But I've got a Sid tune in the works, which is kind of, to my ear, it's got that same sort of drive to it. But what I think is more consistent with the Get in the Van stuff is this Amiga tune I've been working on. I'm not a mod composer by trade. I'm sure that I couldn't tell you all of the pattern effects off the top of my head, for instance, like a lot of the pro mod composers can. But I have been enjoying making a mod tune that's using samples, the same method as Get in the Van, where all the guitar samples are recorded and then sampled, resampled, and clipped down so they wouldn't be too big. Using that same procedure for different notes and chords and chuggy noises and screechy noises, and
Okay.
making an Amiga mod with it. So that's coming hopefully soon. First half of next year. I want to get that released and see if anyone likes it. It might go down like a lead balloon, but it was fun to make. So
Yeah, that's kind
Okay.
of part, but like at least half of the thing is having fun yourself.
Then will it
self
be
gratification is the main thing. Yes.
Yeah.
will it be like a music piece or a standalone music piece or a part
Yeah.
of a
It'll be a compo tune, that particular one.
Okay.
Yes. Hopefully, there's some demo stuff happening as well on C64. I better leave it at that.
Okay. Now it's just another question that came to my mind, that if you release so many tunes, on average, have you counted how many competitions are you participating at annually? Like,
Oh.
oh,
No, I haven't counted that. No, that sounds like an absolute nightmare spreadsheet project. No, I haven't. And to be honest, like I think it would be interesting for me to see all the different, all the different parts of the world where some tunes have been heard. Because we have parties in South America, like Flash Party, and we've got Australia. There's Syntax, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
A lot
Yeah.
of Europe, of course. So I think it would be kind of cool to see. Well, North America too. Actually, there's been a couple of parties there. So I think it would be interesting to see what corners of the world have been. I've had some of my tunes playing out of a PA system. I think that would be nice. But I don't tend to do really well in music compos. It's not something I lose sleep over. I think I came second to X this year, which was, I was very happy about that because it's X, But I think if I was to do that, my results record wouldn't be all that flattering, to be honest.
But
Sometimes it's just fun to participate anyway and hear your track on a PA and all of that, and see or hear the reaction of the people and all of that. Not so much where you end up in the compo.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, that's the only way to be, I think. Otherwise, you'll go nuts, giving yourself a hard time. Why don't people love me? That's not the way to go. Just enjoy hearing it playing out live and enjoy the applause and talking Sid with your peers. That's what it's all about. So
Yeah, exactly.
and here Frida's question would be relevant as well. What are your plans or hopes scene-wise in the close future?
yeah, I'm gonna go to revision. That's the plan.
Haha.
So
See?
I don't think revision's even been confirmed yet for 2025, but I know it tends to happen every Easter, and I hope and expect that it'll happen again. So I want to go to revision, and some of the things I alluded to earlier may or may not be getting released there. We'll see. That's kind of the immediate hope and dream, because I was supposed to go to revision in 2020. I had the flights booked, I had the hotel booked, everything was ready, and then the world ended, so I couldn't go to Saarbrücken to enjoy revision. And I've been really looking forward to going back ever since, or going at all ever since for the first time, because I always, over Easter, I try and follow the live stream on, whatever platform they use now. I can't remember. Twitch, I think. No, it's not Twitch, is it?
I think they got booted off of Twitch and then went to the...
There was that whole drama, wasn't there?
Yeah, the, what's it called? The computer club, CCC, whatever it is.
You know it better because I was there last year,
Yeah,
so
well,
you were just watching.
Yeah, they showed tits on some demo compo, graphics compo, whatever, and got
It was
booted
like,
off.
That
it
was
was
the
like
story
someone's
of-
arse was hanging out in a video entry. I think it was the arse that they objected to.
No.
And then Twitch went, no, you can't do that, because you can show all sorts of violence and things, but no nudity. That's terrible.
Oh, yeah, can't have that.
No.
Well, if you were to slaughter the person who was nude, that would be fine, probably.
So please tell
Yeah,
him
we'd
to
actually
come to
encourage that.
revision. Now I have one person more. Tell Slaygon to come to revision. Please.
Tell me, come on, come at me, bro.
I'd love to go to revision. I'm sort of waiting for the usual in vitro and everything to get released before I book the hotel and flights. That's to answer Frida's question. That's the kind of immediate thing. But I guess the broader thing is just keep on making friends, really, making new friends, seeing some new places, which includes Saarbrücken, I suppose. The social side of the scene is a large part of it. So meeting, the first party I went to was in 2018 at Deadline in Berlin, and I met some great people there. Some C64 people, some other kind of broader demo scene people as well, from modern PC or whatever else. And then X, of course, and these have been, I'm never going to forget these weekends with the hardcore computer people, right? It's been fantastic. So I really hope there's going to be a lot more of that kind of thing, meeting some new people, and that's all there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a solid chance for that, I think, especially
yes.
there. Like, I
so.
think that's the biggest, the most seen event right now, like all over, or probably all over the world, I guess, and the most multi-platform. But Slaygon is a platform racist towards 64.
There is only one platform.
Yes, exactly. So
C64.
that's our argument forever, that he is very hard to direct to a multi-platform party.
What's your position on that, Ziona? Do you like love Atari, for instance, or what's your?
Do I dare to answer that now?
Yeah, you should.
I mean, I was always partial to the 64 when it comes to the Atari and 64 kind of conversations.
And she has this on the shelf behind
But this
her.
is what I grew up with when I was a child. I know, and I never had a 64 until I became an adult. That's
Is that the
kind of
rubber
weird.
key version as well?
That's the rubber key version. Yes,
Oh.
exactly. So
ZX80.
Perfect.
England's finest.
yes,
Yeah.
it's just
That was actually my first computer as well.
Wow.
funnily enough, you would have guessed, right?
Yeah.
So
But I quickly abandoned it as soon as I saw a 64. That was the goal. Got to have one of those.
well, some of us had a chance to do that, but still
Well,
unstucky.
I worked in a steel mill the entire summer to get mine, so I don't know.
Yeah, you have a point there. But anyway,
And it was the 70s, so or 80s, I guess. So mid 80s or early 80s. So I was like, what, 12? So there we go. Child labor.
Wow. Bring it back. No.
Good times, good times.
why? Well, let's get back to your albums. Where we were at the Get in the Van, of course, but you have 3 other albums as well, which also makes a very interesting statistics, because since the year of COVID 2020, you actually released 1 album every year. Will this
Oh, yeah.
continue, this tendency? How would that work in the future?
Well, so yeah, these albums are the ones that exist as digital releases on the Bandcamp page, I guess.
Yes.
So the first 3, there's one called Dedication, there's one called Dedication 2, and there's one called Psychic Carpet Bombing, which is where I got sick of the Dedication name. And those are essentially just compilations of the C64 tunes I've been releasing up until the point of those releases coming out. Yeah, they're all the tunes were recorded from real hardware, so it was just like I guess it was like just to preserve them, maybe get some people from outside the scene to hear them, hopefully. Whereas Get in the Van is more of like a stylistically coherent collection. It's not just like a record of here are all the tunes I've done up until now. It's more, well, I wanted to do like an album that's got a specific sound to it. So I think if I do any future album releases, they're likely to be more like Get in the Van than the earlier collections. And I guess one thing that really informed Get in the Van was, Elman's like Sid Chip Club album, which is, it's, making kind of techno, like dub techno. There it is. Yeah. Masterpiece, by the way. Masterpiece of an album by Elman.
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's a great idea. Just do an album entirely on Sid, and it sticks within a particular style or scene or genre to make something kind of cohesive like that. I thought, let's do it for like metallic hardcore, stoner rock, doom. There's a bit of thrash on there as well, which was a nightmare to mix on the Sid, by the way. But
I can imagine.
yeah, I've got a lot of. I should really give a shout out to Lobo and Cusero from Atlantis, because if it weren't for them, then Get in the Van wouldn't have happened. Like they're Lobo, the graphician, and Cusero, the coder. They kind of brought the whole project to life and made the disc, the music disc release for X possible with their skills. And Lobo did the disc cover, which I know you've already shown. He's a real whiz with all sorts of graphics as Lobo. There it is. Yes, that's his handiwork. So yeah, massive thanks to them for making that album possible.
Very, very cute. Closer to the camera.
No, it doesn't. It just goes blurry.
Ah, okay.
It's,
Autofocus.
Yeah.
Sorry.
don't have autofocus.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I guess the answer is
guess,
like any future albums will be more like Get in the Van than the first three.
So give
it a
so
concept.
the sequel for Get in the Van would be Stay in the van, I guess.
I'm not sure what the next one will be. Maybe after, if I manage to get to revision and I get those releases out of the way, maybe I can start thinking about not a sequel, but like another project of that sort. Because it was fun, it was just cool to work within the confines of a particular musical idea and see what you can do with just a SID chip, but also a bit of sample manipulation and tricks like that. I don't know. We'll see.
And then, of course, the follow-up to that would be Driving the Van.
Yes. Driving the van, crashing the van.
Yeah, there we go. We can go places with this van.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Or we can play maybe a song.
Yes, we can. And maybe even a video, now that we actually talked a little bit about X and all of that. Maybe we can play that video.
Maybe.
I just need to figure out exactly how to get that up and running. So give me a second. We'll see if we actually get any sound out of this whole thing and all of that. Because apparently it didn't work as expected. Nobody cares. Let's see if we can get this running. Oh, there we go. Get in the van. There we go.
And there we go.
Yeah,
So-
and unfortunately, seems like there was no audio on the relays for some reason.
No,
Yeah.
but we had audio on Twitch and YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, still some issues that need some sorting here from the looks of it.
Too many channels, just too many channels to
No,
broadcast to.
that came in kind of routed a little bit wrong. Anyway,
We will sort that out later, I guess. But you got in the van to X 2024, and that was your first X again. That was your first X.
That was my second X. That
Second
was
X,
this year.
yeah.
yeah, 2023
Okay.
was the first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the people I was sharing the van with are a handful of northern English C64 sceners. We had Case of Padua. We had Conrad, also a fantastic Sid musician who needs to compose more tunes because he's been out of the game for a while. But if he's watching, do
Time
it,
to get back to it then.
Yeah, and then also Maestro, who's a real whiz with archiving, preserving discs. We were in the van. It's actually a car, but never mind. It's a van, and
Now it's a van.
We took the Hull to Rotterdam ferry, and had a fantastic time on the North Sea, having a couple of beers. Then got to X, got to Sommeren, and that was when I started assembling those disc packages that you have. So also a big thanks to Almighty God, who very, very, very kindly provided me with the floppies for that release. And then I had the printed sleeves, stuck them all together with glue, put the discs in, and handed them out to my dear scene friends like you two and many other scene legends. It was there it is, pride of place.
Yeah.
That was getting the van. That was X 2024.
Wow.
Very, very nice. And you also provided a clip for promoting Transmissions 2023 at your first X.
I remember you ambushed me. It was very
Yes,
funny.
I did. I ambushed everyone.
You did. I think LFT might have been there as well.
Yeah.
Not everyone reacted the same
No.
positive.
Yeah.
No.
That was
good,
fun
though.
though.
Had to support the cause. Had to support the cause of Transmission 64. So I understood. It's
Yeah.
fine.
How did you and the transmission team met? I mean, I'm not really sure if you actually met with everyone, like physically, but online.
Yeah, at this point, I think I've met with everyone in the team now because it was X last year. Aggressor was there, Frankie was there, of course, Anonym was there. But Transmission 64, the first one was, I guess it was 2020. It was in the lockdown years. That's how it all came about. So basically, Anonym, the kind of main organizer of Transmission 64, as you know, he was a regular on a demo show stream I used to run in the bad old days of the lockdowns. It's something I started doing when I was. It was a difficult time for pretty much everyone I know, but I mean, I was really scratching the paint off the walls in the worst parts of the lockdown because I was also, for my sins, trying to finish a PhD at the same time.
Oh my God.
My funding ran out. I had no money coming in, and I think basically the C64 scene saved my sanity, to be completely honest. Part of that was running this. It was on Twitch. I've got a very, very kind of horrible streaming setup, like one of those cheap capture devices, which I just jammed my C64 into, used OBS to broadcast to Twitch, and then I just went, I'm going to play some demos, and maybe some people want to watch them with me, and we'll talk. And at first there was maybe 20 of us coming from CSDB, people like Flex, Trap from Bonsai, lots of basically scene legends to me. I went, oh God, these cool guys want to watch demos with me, and then it kind of snowballed from there. And that was I think those streams really helped me out mentally, to be honest. But Anonym was another one of the regulars, and I think he was tuning in at funny times because he lives in Canada, right? So we were already kind of in touch with each other through the demo show stream, and he had this great idea of running a C64 exclusive demo party online while we were all stuck inside. And I guess because I was already hosting the demo show on Twitch, he thought of me as an obvious candidate for hosting this thing. And yeah, that was it. I mean, when we started planning the first one, that's when I got talking to Aggressor of Padua, Frankie of Padua. And yeah, we did the thing. We did transmission, and it's just even though we're not in the bad old days of the lockdowns anymore, I still think there's a place for Transmission 64, as evidenced by the quality and quantity of the releases we got this year, right? I think
Yeah.
it was a really cool event. So full props and respect to Anonym for having the original idea, and to Frankie for keeping the the machine ticking over in the background, and of course to yourselves for hosting the most recent ones. I think, to be honest, you've both been such brilliant hosts to this thing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
No real surprise, because you do the Slay Radio thing. You got so much experience, wrangling all the fans of our scene. So I think you do a brilliant job. But nevertheless, it was still cool to be the kind of surprise announcer of the music compo.
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
really glad that you took this
Yes.
and you joined in for the music compo.
Yeah, I was so happy that you agreed to do that. It was great to just pop in their audio first, and then like they sound different. But of course, everyone at Transmission 64 knows your voice, so they just went, "Oh yeah, it's Mibri."
And then we also learned that they are missing the demo shows
Yeah.
by now. So,
Yeah, so
for how
there-
long
yeah.
did you do them?
How long? Geez, I don't know. So I think maybe for about a year they were pretty regular, and then after that, when I got back into work, regular work, and increasingly I was able to leave the house and see people, and had to catch up on my life. They kind of got less frequent. So it's kind of hard to say exactly how long that project ran for, but it was never really something I meant to sustain indefinitely. It was sort of a means to an end. The end being the maintenance of my sanity again. But no, I've got happy memories of running those shows. I don't think it would make a ton of sense for me to do it now, and time is kind of at a premium, but never say never. I think in the new year I would like to upgrade my computer setup, which, as you can probably tell, is creaking and could die on me any day. So I need to replace it, and that, I think, running a demo show could be a cool test of everything, just to see just how advanced my high-tech computer system truly is. So maybe next year it would be fun to do another show, and maybe have like a, there have been so many great demos coming out the last couple of years that I haven't put on the demo show. So it would be good to catch up, I think.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. Also,
and there's a bunch of people out there that do not follow the scene releases on the original hardware or even on the emulators. They just prefer to tune into like a demo show and just watch a bunch of cool stuff. So yeah,
I dig that. Yeah. I think I never really officially archived those demo shows myself, but Case of Padua, he very kindly basically ripped the video from Twitch and has uploaded them to his YouTube channel. So I don't think he has every single show I ever did, but he's got most of them. I'm just going to paste the link into Discord here if anyone wants to give him a follow, check out what he's been doing, because he's a good guy, and he, as I say, very kindly archived some of those demo show episodes. So
you're definitely
relive those years, then there you go.
Yeah, you're definitely making the case for Padua there. Haha.
Yeah. Good group, good people.
Yeah.
yeah, and this is not the only thing that you have done, because you have also done something called Forever Sound Version, right?
Yeah.
The podcast series.
You've done your research.
Oh, well. I had great tools at my hand for that. And
Google.
yeah, exactly. But
Yes.
also it's thematically, it's slightly different. It's still very music oriented, but here we are very multi-platform, because you are basically all about video games and video game music, and all sorts of platforms you can imagine, like from Nintendo to Sega to Amiga to Slaygon, don't say anything.
The specky.
but yeah, basically you were doing like 70 something, no, 65, 70 something editions from this podcast, right? That's
Yeah,
quite
so
a lot.
a lot of that podcast kind of predates my activity on the scene. But yes, that was a video game music podcast I did. Sometimes it would be a solo episode. Other times I'd have guests on to contribute some picks. Basically, a VGM podcast. It's not something I invented. You know, there are quite a few really good VGM podcasts, better ones than mine. But the idea is we're gonna have a playlist of examples of video game music based on like a theme, such as a certain platform, perhaps, or a certain type of game, or a certain series of games, and then we'll take some picks from these games or whatever, and then we'll play them and talk about them, and talk about the games as well. That's the general idea. So, yeah, Forever Sound version was my own attempt at doing such a podcast, but with like a sort of European twist on it, because a lot of these podcasts are American. So my perspective was maybe a little bit different because we had, you know, the Amiga gaming scene, Commodore 64 gaming scene was maybe different to how it was in the United States, right? So, yeah, I also want to give a shout to my friend the Dyad, who I think he might be watching right now. He's got a cool podcast called The Dyad Presents, and we've done some co-op shows together in the past. Just want to give him a shout because he's top guy, and he's also done some C64 graphics.
Cool.
So he's a pixel artist. He's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, that was that's been a fun podcast. One day I will do another episode. Again, it's just time, isn't it? It's finding time.
Yeah. If you do have a link to the Dyad podcast there, post a link in the public channel there.
I will do that.
And with the theme we're on, Gohanks asks, what was your favorite C64 game?
Ooh.
Seems relevant.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm going to limit this answer to the games I remember from being a kid, because to be honest, I don't play a lot of... I've played quite a few modern like C64 games, but not often. Not as often as I play demos and stuff. I think the games that maybe affected me most were like shooters. So stuff like Delta, Sanxion, and Light Force. And of course, what do those three games have in common?
Rob Hubbard?
Exactly. So I found those tunes from those games very memorable. And so rediscovering the C64 when I was an adult was, oh yeah, this Rob Hubbard guy. Turns out he used to live very close to where I live now in Newcastle. So I know exactly where he used to live because I have this. 1 second. I have this,
piece of his floorboard.
Yeah, the Rob Hubbard Master of Magic book. There's some.
You mean this?
That's the one. That's the one. Yes. So I've done some detective work, and I know exactly where he used to live.
Yeah, Chris Abbott and company did a great job on that book. It's really, really nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I used to like the shooting games. I used to like Rob Hubbard's music and those. I also liked a lot of the arcade ports the C64 got. So Bubble Bobble, especially. That was I love Bubble Bobble a great deal. Yeah, I guess my outright favorite game tune, C64 game tune from back in the day was probably Light Force. You know, the really long form one that Hubbard did. It kind of develops gradually over time, and it's got some really, I don't know, I like the changes in dynamics and some of the sounds he gets out of it, which is like relatively, you know, it's amazing that he programmed it himself back in the 80s, but it's a relatively primitive system, but he still gets some really cool effects out of it. Which is
I think
to me.
Sound-wise, I think the violin he does in Sanction, the what's it called in English, Bergakungens Sal. He does a cover of
Dance of the Nights, right?
Yeah, that one. So the violin on that is one of the best I've heard on the 64. Really brilliant.
Nice one.
Yeah.
The Loader tune from Sanxion's a banger as well. Yeah. That's classic. So that's always stayed with me because we had to load everything from tape, right? A lot of casual C64 owners, we didn't have disk drives. We only had data sets. So we had to endure the loading times. And thankfully, in the case of Sanxion, we had that classic loader tune from Hubbard, which is one of my favorite SIDs still, probably.
Yeah, he
But-
did a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, indeed. But here we need to ask as well. There was this 8-bit symphony concert in Hull. It's his city. Have you heard of that time when it happened? Because
it was on the news. I think the local BBC broadcasters did a feature about it.
Yeah.
I think the guys behind, the Project Hubbard stuff, they were always talking about it online, and it seemed like it was. I didn't actually attend myself. It seemed like one of the man himself. It was like a dream realized to have like symphonic arrangements of some of those tunes. I mean, to be completely honest, like it's probably not for me. I want to hear the Sid being whipped. I want to hear doing a lot with a little, right? Personally, but I'm really pleased that he did it though, because it really seemed like a big dream to get that stuff played out by a large ensemble. So
Yeah,
it was kind of a big deal for him, I think.
Yeah, he seemed quite happy when we had dinner with him after the Prague recordings, because we were there and broadcast the whole thing. And then
cool.
in the evening we went out with him and his wife, had a dinner. That was really nice.
Yeah, he's a great guy too.
Yeah.
Isn't
It sounded, though, how you said that he was quite happy that we had dinner together. I think that he was happy.
I don't know what you were listening to, but I was responding to him saying he was quite happy, seemed quite happy about doing the project.
Yeah,
he?
exactly.
Who wouldn't want to have dinner with you, Slaygon?
Yeah, true.
Isn't that what we all aspire to?
Yeah,
really?
it's, it's just
Get the
very
cheese
hard to
pie
get
in the oven. I'm coming over.
It's just very hard to get me out of the house,
Yeah, exactly. And he is constantly nagging me because of my English, so I just needed to do this right now.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, it's been a blast then. But then you are not completely against the symphonic music, but you are obviously, when it comes to Sid, more into the original stuff.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like the remixes aspect of the scene that you cover as well. I think it's interesting, and it's not something I've done before actually. But maybe if the right idea comes along, maybe I could attempt like a symphonic arrangement of someone's tune. It wouldn't be. I've done a little bit of studying in that world, but it was a long time ago, so don't expect miracles. But it's an idea, and
Okay.
or
I mean-
some other kind of remix. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, even Laxity has a remix out on RKO now, so I guess you're up next.
Oh, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be as good as Laxity.
Everyone needs
He's,
to start
one
somewhere,
of the
right?
all-time greats for me. I think, yeah, it's cool that Laxity joined Multi-Style Labs relatively recently. It's like I'm just accumulating these heroes in this group I happen to be in as well. Anything he touches turns to gold, and I guess that goes for remixes as well.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But then again, if your aim is, or anyone's aim is to get to a Laxity level before you do anything, nothing will ever get done. It's like...
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Or to start somewhere. Also, we have the video, of course, related to
of
you,
course.
and
Yes.
the transmission from Laxity I associated there. That is certain recent production of Shogun and Friends, featuring Laxity and you and many more.
Yes, and again, it's about 3 minutes of silence on the regular relays when we play
Sorry,
this.
people, on the regular relays.
So I'm going to see if I can fix it while it's playing, but for those on the relays, mind you, it's going to be silence for about 3 minutes or
just
so.
join Twitch or YouTube.
Yeah, Twitch or YouTube works. Or if you want audio only, go to kick.com/ no, that would also be silence because it listens to the relays. Anyway, here is Shogun and Friends bit from the past Transmission 64 about a month ago, is it? Yeah.
A month ago?
Less
Not
than
even a month
that.
ago.
Yeah, less than that.
a month ago.
With Mibri and what was it called again? It's called
Pachinko Wizard, right?
Yeah, Pachinko Wizard. I always need to read it back because it's a word I don't use daily in my speaking if you wish.
That's okay. New word.
Anyway, here it is. Oops.
All right.
Lost our guest again. There we go.
No.
Here I am. I'm still alive.
That is very good. I guess
Yeah,
after this evening.
Yeah, I don't have a button for that, but so I instinctively do the we're back now button.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's again. By the way, sorry for the relay listeners, audio only listeners, for the silence there. I will try to sort that for next time. But
yeah, the reason why these things are happening because previously we had several guests. Now we have one guest. And the setup will be also different when we don't have a guest next week, I guess.
So not really, no. No.
But this is when always things go wrong, basically.
When things change.
You're adapting pretty well, I think.
Oh, well, thanks.
For the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Thank you.
We do what we can. But excellent track. I thought it was great to see you actually play an instrument when that was played on transmission.
Thanks.
And the track is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the piece itself it was a SID tune I released at Transmission 64 maybe last year. I think it was last year's edition. I released that tune, and when Shogun asked if I could contribute, I thought, well, it's going to be for Transmission 64, so it'll be fun to do a cover version of myself based on my last Transmission tune. So that was the thinking behind that one. Yeah,
technically then you could just upload the audio of that to RKO and your remixer too. There we go.
Oh,
yeah,
perfect.
You're right.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I can
There we
really,
go.
I can really get away with doing that. Now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
I've remixed my own SIDs too.
and then that would make you automatically participating in the Remixer of the Year awards. That happens every year, by the
I'm
way.
not going to win that.
Well, you never
That's
know.
a cool idea, though. Maybe I could upload that. Yeah, I'll think about that.
Yeah, excellent. Good. More remixers to the scene. That's perfect. That's what we want.
That's why I said we are not selfish, but when are you going to make a remix? Well, you already did one.
Proton just asked in the Mibri questions channel, when will we hear first remix by Mibri? You just did. That was literally his first remix.
Ask and you shall receive.
Exactly. Before you even ask.
Yeah, if every wish would be fulfilled that quickly. So, yeah. But yeah, basically same thing. Like this is with remix.quad.org, and if you do an Amiga remix by any chance, then it goes to amigaremix.com. And then of course remix64.com is gathering all these two platforms and doing the awards show basically, which is curated by us, I guess, in every February.
Well, hosted, I guess.
Hosted, yeah, like
we don't curate anything. It's the voters that do the voting, and then we just read what they voted for.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
So this year, basically, the voting deadline is
48 days, is it?
Yeah, 39 days left
39.
now, and it's with a very yellow fonts. The one font there on the top of remix64.com, so you can check that out. Yeah, Sunday, 19th of January 2025 is the voting deadline for this year, and after that, everything will be summarized.
So still plenty of time.
Yeah, just so you know. But you need to submit this until the last day of this year. Because technically it's Roti Awards 2024, not 2025. So any contributions that are getting submitted after the 1st of January are not making it to the Roti 2024.
So there is a deadline. That's good to know. I'll throw my hat in the ring, perhaps. I'm feeling brave.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, tons of people heard and saw this, and it was awesome.
I guess it's out now anyway, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely out now.
You can't take it back. It's on the internet.
Yeah.
It's going to stay there forever.
Several places by now.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have about 15 or so minutes left. Is there any important questions that we have missed? Explorer or Absolute?
Oh, as in vodka, right?
Yeah, I presume so. That was a question by
Are
Greaser.
they both Swedish vodkas?
I think both are, yeah. Absolute vodka
Absolute
definitely is, but Explorer I think also is.
Okay. To be honest, I've never actually knowingly tried Explorer vodka. I have had Absolute because they do all those kind of weird flavors, don't they?
Yeah.
I once, when I was 22 years old. Yeah, I think when I was 22, I got extremely ill by drinking too much of the Absolute vanilla vodka too quickly. I was having a house party at my house, and I was dressed as Robert Smith from The Cure, and I was the following day I was gonna break up with my girlfriend because that went south. So I got really drunk and upset, and I was a total mess, and all of my eyeliner was all over my face. It was terrible. So yeah, Absolute vodka just reminds me of that. Therefore, I'm going to say Explorer vodka, even though I've never tried it.
Yeah, even though you may not have even tried it.
Yeah, can't be any worse than that experience.
Oh. Yeah, I don't have a traumatic experience like you, but when I was like 14, I got drunk on Absolute, and then I got so ill by that I didn't have any Absolute. I still don't like the smell of it.
Why is it that everyone has this experience at some point? I was 21 and that was gin, and I never want to drink gin again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm ready to embrace vanilla Absolute again now, but I think the one drink I'm pretty sure I can't go back to because I got sick of it was ouzo, the Greek stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's vicious if you have enough of it anyway,
Yeah.
which I So
Yeah, the vanilla vodka is actually one of the few ones I could even try for very, very, very many years.
yum yum.
Yeah, but the original it tastes like other vodkas basically. I mean, I don't feel that much difference to be honest.
No,
Sorry,
they do not.
but
I like Icelandic vodka, that Reka stuff. I like that stuff. That's nice.
Yeah, for me it would be Finlandia.
yeah,
Also
that's also
good.
fine.
Mm.
It's just a tasteless, nice and crisp type of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah, that's okay.
Get some ice in there. Job's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Why
yeah.
not?
I think we actually got through all of the questions that were posted.
Yeah, when it comes to the listener questions,
Exactly.
also
We
there
still-
were loads of things. Actually, still there are some things. At least I would like to ask because when we talked about composing and music in general, you were very much 64 focused, but you are working on a module right now. But have you ever done or considered to do like music on like completely like PC and recent sounds and not with the challenges of the SID, but with a recent DAW?
Yeah, like Cubase or Ableton or whatever.
Like
Yeah,
you
I
know.
do that kind of all the time, to be honest, but I
Oh,
don't release
okay.
all of it. I think the PC demo scene, to my ear, has its own kind of range of styles. Like a lot of it's sort of that modern drum and bass type stuff, or the
True,
kind of
yeah.
ambient stuff that breaks down into like break beats and things. I haven't done too much of that particular lane of music, but in terms of using modern DAWs, as you say, yeah, I do stuff like that. I used to have like an electronic project called Wascally Way, which I did some gigs with, and yeah, I haven't done that in a while, but that was all using modern tools and modern signal processing and synthesis, stuff like that. So
Okay.
yeah, the modern demo scene, the modern PC scene, is something I'm interested in. I think if a group was to say, I mean, the thing is, there are so many musicians, right? I think demand is not really outstripping supply. But if someone was to ask, hey, could you do like a piece for this PC demo? I would go, yes. That would be a fun challenge. That would be cool. And I know there are some C64 composers who kind of do a little bit of that. I think it might not be the best example, but I liked it. I'm thinking of, oh no, a better one. Do you remember when Vincenzo did the music for that revision in Vitro? I think it was the lockdown one in 2020.
Yeah.
I think he did the music for that one. I could be wrong, but I remember that, and I thought, hey, Vincenzo, he's the Sid guy. He's the funky Sid guy, and he's also doing this
So
basically PC demo music.
yeah, so he put
yeah.
some ideas in your head.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
not.
great.
I think that one thing that sure the drum and bass and breakbeat stuff is very popular with the PC demo scene, but it's not set in stone that it needs to be that. So
Sure.
your style can easily match a demo. I can totally see how that would match. So yeah,
It'd be
and
an
I think-
interesting challenge because there's the sensibility of making demos. Broadly speaking, is quite a lot different to C64 demos, which have parts and scrollers. Not always, but often. And whereas a PC demo is like a very different animal, I guess. And I suppose that would necessitate different ideas and priorities with the audio. I guess I'd have to learn like what the programmers would want for that. But I'd like to learn. That's yeah, maybe one day that would be a cool thing to try. Yeah. Well, I'm here if anyone wants to hire me.
yeah, exactly. Now you said it out
Yeah.
loud. So
Any
knows?
thoughts on composing for like TV, movies, that sort of thing?
I think I have entertained the idea of doing it, but the problem is I'm kind of lazy. As far as like professional stuff, I'm if you think I'm kind of prolific with the demo scene stuff, like I guess I kind of am. I'm the opposite with professional stuff. I'm I don't really know where to start. I know a couple of people who do make music for even games and TV for a living, and I think they've got skills that I just don't possess, especially with things like networking and all that. Never say never, though. I mean, it could be a fun thing to
Yeah, if
try.
the
I mean,
right project pops up, so sure.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I understand because Slaygon said the same thing. I think first time when I asked him if he wants like a real cinematic project with a movie, but he also said that once it becomes work, it becomes an obligation, and then it's so different from the passion that you put into your hobby projects, right? But at the same time, yeah, never say never. And if you go to revision, by the way, it can happen in no time that you find the right people.
That's interesting. I think you nailed it though with the distinction between work and messing around. I'm very good at messing around, I think, but yeah, work's a different animal. But maybe I don't know. Maybe that distinction doesn't necessarily need to exist.
No,
if you find
exactly.
the right project.
Yeah, exactly. If the right project falls into your lap and it's more of a like, see what you can come up with sort of a situation, no specific, you don't have like a test track on there that you need to you need to beat Vangelis or, that sort of thing. It's like, okay, sorry, I'm not Vangelis, cannot do that. So everything you kind of deliver would be subpar to that, obviously, because duh, but if it's something more relaxed in the production, then sure, why not, sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe it's not so different after all, but to date I haven't done a whole lot of that kind of thing. Like when I was studying a lot, I worked with some kind of animation students and soundtracked a thing they did. And that was fun because I guess they were looking for something quite specific, but it was something that at the time I was very interested in. So it was kind of a serendipitous kind of match between me and the animator. But yeah, I guess I haven't chased down opportunities like that. I guess after I did that project, I was basically a professional student for a while, like writing stuff for the PhD, for example. So I mean, my priorities changed a little bit, and if I was making music, then it really was for like my own, just music for music's sake, I guess.
Yeah.
But again, never say never, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that brings us to the future. Like, do you have any dream projects that you would want to participate at, except what we already heard?
Like in the scene specifically?
Not only. It
any
can be
project.
anything.
Yeah. Well, my band, which is myself, my wife, and one of my best friends, we're kind of halfway through working on a new album. So I'm hoping that we can get that fully finished in the new year, and then get it pressed as an LP as well. Like do it all ourselves, and then do a little tour behind it when work allows. If we can do that next year, I'd be very, very happy. And it's just like a matter of not falling behind with recording here and there, and and like keeping on top of lead times for pressing the vinyl, stuff like that. But I'm optimistic we can get that out in the new year. And the band's called Zilch Patrol, if anyone wants to hear that. Aside from that, I don't know, long term, I think I probably said it before, but if I can just keep like traveling a bit and meeting new people who dig music, be it scene music or whatever, then that's what I would call winning at life. Not so much about having like a single kind of thing to accomplish, but just keep on living like keep on live desperate but happy musician's life of meeting like-minded people and having fun releasing stuff. That's, I don't know, just enjoying that process, really. And go on holiday to Japan again. That's another thing I want to do. Because I'd actually like to combine all those things in a Japanese visit. Like I've been a couple of times before, but I'd like to play a gig there at some point. That would be, if I have to name one kind of one kind of aspiration, then maybe play a show in Japan and
Become big in
hopefully-
Japan.
yeah, big in Japan exactly. Have more than 2 people there would be an accomplishment. But,
I'm sure you can
probably
manage
not
that.
so, yeah, maybe one day. That's something I think would be cool to have happen in some years to come. Luckily, our friend who plays bass in our band is more or less he's pretty good at Japanese, so I think I'd need to get him to do a lot of the organizing. But hey, I don't know. I'm dreaming out loud now. You can probably tell. That's one thing I wouldn't mind doing.
And that's exactly why we asked for it. So
Yeah.
And the band name, was it Zilch Patrol, you said?
Yeah. I can. I'll give you a Bandcamp link for
Yes.
that.
Just
Thank you.
post it in the public channel, or maybe actually that one you can post in the Mibri Questions channel.
Sure. Yeah. And I don't really expect it to be to everyone's tastes, but I think maybe some of what I do Sid wise kind of bleeds into the band. For the kind of the guitar-esque stuff and all the weird rhythmic stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of crossover. I don't know.
Oh. Looking forward to listening through that.
Indeed.
Awesome.
And oh my God, we approached 11. So what do you guys say if we maybe play a song right now and we come back for the last goodbyes?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
something?
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Okay. And do we want real hardware stuff? Or do we want anything from him?
Yeah, we can play anything from here. It should be fine.
It's up
hopefully.
to him, so it's...
What do we want to hear then? From you, that is. Do you have a favorite Sid of yours?
Oh, I don't know. You've kind of played some of my some of the ones I've done recently that I think were all right. I don't know, man. Oh, maybe did I? There's a tune called Survival Cell, which I released this year. That I think I was kind of happy with that one because there was a competition on CSDB, which was make tunes that only have noise waves in them. So
Was it-
which
what
is
was
like
it called?
the 8-1 wave. Yeah, only noise waves allowed, and I released a tune called Survival Cell, which is only
Oh,
it's multi-speed, and you'll hear that
It's
that
not
is
there,
the
but
case.
it's here.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so not from the real hardware, but at least still your capture. So
Sure,
survival
okay.
cell. Okay.
I was happy with this one. It's kind of weird, but then it's only noise waves, so maybe weirdness is to be expected.
with just noise wave, yes.
Required. Indeed, it was noisy.
Very noisy, and who said that? It said crunchy.
Crunchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitstorm.
Yep. But
Crunchy's what
sometimes,
we aim for sometimes. You know?
Yeah.
Just crunchy Sid tunes. Yeah, that was kind of a strange competition. You know, you only using the noise waves. Of course, what you're hearing is pitches because there's a certain trick you can manipulate in multi-speed, like a kind of a hard restart type thing, where you can generate pitches, and if you line things up right, even chords and stuff. So it's kind of cheating, but kind of it's still only noise waves. So
Yeah, exactly. So technically not cheating.
yeah, if that's
Yeah.
the only criteria, then
Yeah.
nice. And yes, transmission piece.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, was that a transmission piece?
I think that was.
No,
No,
Lydia,
sorry, no.
Lydia is.
The next one is. Sorry, yeah, my bad, my bad. Yeah, full
That
of
was a
information
CSTB
here.
compo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Online only.
Yeah. I
Speak-
like those those compos.
Yeah, speaking of which, you did an unreadable scroll text compo as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. So that was Hedning of Genesis Project who put me onto that, because we were it was in the lockdown, we were doing the demo show, and if anyone from the demo scene is wondering where the obsession with unreadable scrollers came from, it came from us on the Mibri demo show. It was Hedning, it was Walt, it was Trap, it was Dr. Science. We were all going, yeah, the best scrollers are the ones where you can't read what the text is. That's the true way of scrollers. And then the following morning, I go on CSDB and I've seen that Hedning has added me as the host of this compo. And Hedning, I didn't agree to this, but you went, well, you're the host now, you're going to have to run the competition. Like, right. And yeah, then we had some really cool entries from, I think Onslaught was the outright winner of that, with a very, very tiny unreadable scroller. But we had Canute from Fossil with a really cool unreadable scroller.
Yeah, I have kind of adopted that. There's a line in there, actually. It's kind of unreadable.
This is the way.
Yeah, and underneath there's a tiny line.
Yes. I cannot read that for love nor money.
It says, if you can read this, you are too close to the screen. Back off.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's it. Yep, unreadable scrollers. That was a fun online only competition on a very specific idea. So yeah, cheers Hedning for drafting me in there.
All sorts of fun.
yeah.
So, yeah, we are kind of running over time a bit. So, any last words? Anything you would want to share that we haven't gone through yet? Any hidden talents we haven't touched on yet? Like, I'm very, very good at ironing shirts or socks or something.
Gardening.
I hate ironing. I don't iron anything. It's a waste of time.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Don't waste your time ironing. Just make some Sid music instead. It's better.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm not very good at very much. I think music's basically my life, so I stick to that. Yeah, I like music. I like spending time with my wife and cat. If I can keep those things, that triangle intact for a while, I'll be quite happy. But I would say I want to say a massive thank you to both of you. Slay Radio is a force for good in the world. I still think that the demo scene in general is a fascinating thing. The C64 scene in particular, and your place in it. Running these shows most weeks. It's a really cool thing. So thank you very much for keeping it running and for giving me a platform to have some of my weird tunes played to some more people. That's I really don't take that for granted. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I should probably say hello to some scene friends while I'm on. Everyone in Atlantis, Multi-Style Labs, everyone in Proxima, and everyone I've met at parties over the last couple of years, especially with X and things. Just big hello. Thank you for welcoming me into this scene since 2018. I know I'm kind of relatively new because there's been people who've been around since the 80s doing these legendary things on the computer. So I'm kind of I'm a noob really still. But you've I don't know, you've all been so kind, and I should also say, like, I think there's times where, especially on internet forums, you kind of see arguments over things. I know one of the hot potatoes at the minute is artificial intelligence in scene releases and stuff like that. I just want to say, like, just, you know, remember there are real people on the other side of the internet. Just like be cool and be kind where you can. I think that's worth remembering at times, because when we see each other in person, it's all cool. Have a couple of beers and we have a great time. I think if we can just do that online as well, I think that would ensure the continued thriving of this scene based around totally obsolete computers. It's fantastic. So that's all I really wanted to say. Just thanks for having me, and let's try and keep this thing moving for years to come.
Couldn't agree more. Very well said.
Absolutely beautiful closing words, and yes. Thank you
You're
very much.
embarrassing me now.
And and thank you very much for taking the time to sit with us today. It's been informative and fun.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
sometimes noisy.
Yeah, and we were meant to play some of the tunes that we didn't even get to. So we talked a little bit over, I think, but we are very happy about that. So if you are happy about that, then we are absolutely happy about that. So
yeah, it's been a pleasure, really, speaking to you. And let's hope we can do it in person next year at some party or other. It'll be, you know, good to have a couple of drinks, and we can,
yeah,
That would be excellent. Yes,
So,
definitely. So yeah, thank you for taking your time, and I guess it's our time to tell everyone that next week we will be back on the 19th of December, Thursday, according to the regular schedule, and also on other days of the week. You guys can always join Boz Radio's shows as we approach Christmas. Not really sure how consistent everyone will be. I know that we will be probably, well, not most likely off air on 26th, Christmas time.
Yeah.
But I think there might be a chance that we will be back on the 2nd of January.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
If we've sobered up.
yeah, good luck.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Might need it.
Exactly. So we will see. This year we'll have a longer holiday than usual, because definitely we start early and it's gonna take about 2 weeks. But I think at the end of that, we might be able to join and do a show on the 2nd of January.
Indeedly.
But yeah, so far next week we will be still back, and as far as I see, Boz Radio schedule, they are there with full-on power until next week as well.
Yeah.
So we will see. And thank you everyone for joining tonight as well, and thanks for all the comments and your presence and the requests that you posted in. I think I have prepared our goodbye song here, and
looks very much like it. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you, Mibri, once again for taking the time and giving us this enjoyable evening.
Yeah, likewise, man. Thank you very much.
Hope to do this again soon.
Why not? Yeah, works for me.
Good. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, guys. Have a very good night. Take care.
Good night.
Until next week.